When I came back to Clearwater Valley after years of war, I thought peace was waiting for me. Instead, I found bulldozers ripping through my grandfather's ranch, water pipes draining our creek, and a shiny banner declaring, "Welcome to Aspen Ridge Estates, a Riverbend HOA community." My family's land, 100 acres my grandfather had protected since the 50s, was being swallowed by an HOA I'd never even heard of, the dam Pops built in the 70s, a structure that had supplied neighbors through droughts and secured our senior water rights, sat cracked and dry while their construction ponds sparkled. The mastermind was Cheryl Whitaker, Riverbend HOA's president. With her councilman husband Grant backing every dirty move, while I was deployed, they filed an adverse possession claim, rezoned my ranch from agricultural to residential, and declared it abandoned. When I confronted Cheryl, she smiled sweetly and told me I should be grateful the land was finally being put to use. But the harassment came fast. HOA, safety patrols, blocking my driveway, city inspectors citing me for fake violations, and rumors spreading online that I was a dangerous veteran. It was intimidation, plain and simple. Instead of folding, I fought back. In the county archives I uncovered a 1923 deed granting my family senior rights to every drop of Willow Run Creek. Even better, Pop's Dam was federally approved for flood control, which meant their zoning tricks couldn't erase federal law. With my Army buddy Eric at the EPA, lawyer Amanda Cross, and downstream farmers like Miguel Herrera and Mrs. Patel, I built my case. We gathered proof, water diversion photos, drone footage of their homes in the floodplain, and evidence of fraud in their insurance filings. The Whitakers thought they could drown me in paperwork and smear campaigns. What they didn't know was that storm clouds were already building over the Rockies, and Pop's Dam, the one they tried to kill, was about to roar back to life. The storm rolled into Clearwater like an invading army, thunder shaking the valley and rain hammering the reservoir until the water rose to the very edge of Pop's Dam. By dawn, the whole town had gathered on the ridges. On one side stood the farmers, weathered, hands gripping coffee mugs, eyes fixed on me with a mix of fear and hope. On the other side, the Riverbend HOA put on their performance. Neat rows of SUVs, residents in matching ponchos, kids held like props for the cameras. Cheryl Whitaker stood in the center, umbrella in hand, pearls gleaming even in the storm light. "He's a danger to this community," she shouted, her voice cutting through the rain. "This unstable veteran is about to flood your homes." Reporters circled like vultures, live-streaming every word. I ignored her. My boots sank into the mud as I placed my hands on the spillway wheel, Pop's old journal tucked into my jacket. The metal groaned as I turned, and then the sound came, deep, rolling, unstoppable, water rushing free. For the first time in years, Willow Run Creek surged through its rightful bed. It wasn't chaos. It wasn't destruction. It was life. Stock ponds filled, cattle drank, fields soaked up the long-awaited flow. Farmers cheered through tears, and even some of the HOA residents lowered their signs, realizing no houses were flooding, no children were in danger. The only thing breaking was Cheryl's concrete barrier, the one she'd poured illegally to block the creek. It cracked, crumbled, and vanished beneath the current, carried away like the lies it was built on. EPA officer Eric Monroe stepped forward, rain plastering his shirt to his chest, and raised his voice so the cameras caught every word. "This release matches historical records exactly. This is lawful water restoration." His statement hit harder than thunder. The crowd erupted, but Cheryl shrieked into her phone, desperate, screaming about terrorism and lawsuits. No one was listening anymore. The truth was there, plain as the creek rushing past our boots. 2 weeks later, the courthouse overflowed. Farmers, reporters, city residents, everyone wanted to see the showdown. Cheryl arrived first, flanked by attorneys in tailored suits, makeup flawless, voice trembling with rehearsed concern. "This man weaponized water," she declared to the cameras. "He endangered families. He needs to be stopped." Her lawyers painted me as a dangerous ex-soldier reliving combat trauma, even wheeling in a psychiatrist who claimed I was driven by revenge fantasies. For a moment, the gallery murmured. Some shook their heads at me, but then Amanda Cross stood up. Amanda wasn't flashy. She wore a simple blazer, hair pulled back, voice steady as stone. One by one, she dismantled their case. First came the 1923 water deed, proving my family's senior rights. Then the Army Corps permits for Pop's dam stamped and signed. Placing it under federal jurisdiction, Eric Monroe took the stand and testified that my release had been controlled, legal, and beneficial. Drone footage played across the courtroom screens showing the HOA's diversion pipes, their illegal barriers, and their half-built homes sitting in the floodplain, and then Amanda struck the killing blow. Documents proving the Whitakers had lied to insurance companies, claiming there was no flood risk in order to secure millions in loans. The room fell silent when Amanda pressed play on a recording. Grant Whitaker's voice, angry and unguarded. "I don't care what the reports say. Cover up the flood risk, get the banks quiet, and keep construction moving. If that veteran wants to fight, we'll crush him." The judge leaned forward, face dark as a storm. Cheryl's hands shook on the table. The gallery gasped. And then Miguel Herrera, the farmer who had nearly lost his family's land, stood and spoke with a voice that trembled but carried. "My grandfather watered our fields from Willow Run. Cheryl Whitaker stole that water. David Cole gave it back." The judge's gavel cracked like thunder. "This court rules in favor of David Cole. His water rights stand. The HOA is found in violation of federal law, and this matter is referred to the U.S. Attorney for investigation." Cheers erupted as Cheryl's lawyers scrambled to pack their binders. Reporters swarmed. Grant stormed out red-faced, while federal agents whispered to one another at the back of the courtroom. Justice had finally broken through. Within months, the fallout was complete. Grant resigned from the council under federal investigation, his political career in ashes. Cheryl's HOA collapsed under fines, lawsuits, and frozen bank accounts. Aspen Ridge Estates, their luxury community, was abandoned. Halfway finished, rebar rusting under the sun, concrete slabs cracked by weeds. Meanwhile, Willow Run Creek thrived, fields turned green, herds fattened, and children once again cast fishing lines from Pop's Dam. Every September, we now hold a festival by the water. Farmers grilling, families laughing, veterans honored. Sometimes, as the sun sinks behind the Rockies and the creek glitters gold, I stand by that old dam and think of Pops. Cheryl tried to drown us in lies, but she forgot the oldest truth of all. Water finds its path, and when it does, so does justice.